Hello everyone and welcome to Second Life once again. We are here at the 12th oldest region of Second Life. That means we are at the 3/4 point. There will be only 4 more regions to go after this. And back here we see the previous region we were just at. It's only been about 2 weeks since I recorded my last video in my time. So there's probably very little in the means of change. Originally, I was spending months before I would do another video on these regions, so I'd have a chance of seeing how they change, but seeing as I guess this is it's kind of gotten my attention that looks like a Photoshop or something along those lines. But in any case, I wanted to see if I could move this along, because it's already been, I think, 2 or 3 years now, and originally, when I first thought about it, I was only at the halfway point, so I did want to make sure I got a chance to finish this up this year, so we're definitely making progress. And we'll go ahead and move on over here. I think these are just simple properties. When I looked around Hawthorne before I started the recording, it looked like there was a lot of open land for sale and a lot of just empty spots, so perhaps not the most exciting spot we're going to have here, though there's definitely a very noticeable monument for this region, which is the giant castle over that way. And we will be taking a look at that, as it's owned by someone, but essentially it appears to be run like it's apartments almost. So it seems to be that you can, in fact, go in there and it's not full-on private property or something on those lines. And we can see some of the islands off of the coastline here, though I don't have my distance up high enough to have them fully detailed out, which is a bit unfortunate, but have to keep some sort of frame rate, right? Looks like this empty spot is band-lined off, which is fine with me. There's nothing to see here over here anyways. There's these little room things here that interested me earlier, so I'm quite interested in seeing what these are, but it appears to be... they appear to be for sale, so that's... I don't know if they're for sale or particularly for rent, because otherwise I'm not sure why these would be sitting here. I assume you'd probably rent this little spot out. Which is kind of a neat idea, I guess, having these little spots like this on the ridges. I've never seen something done like that before. This one's a little bit, yeah, this one's a little bit a meh to me because of the band lines almost coming through the wall. That's, I wouldn't enjoy having that one. Let's go ahead and take a look down here and see what's going on. Looks to be more land for rent, though these spots are bigger. I see a little lock icon over this treasure chest. Markland. And it turned into a sphere. It's always kind of annoying when they do that, but it happens. We got to see what it was anyways. Looks like we're about to see one of the old-fashioned avatar cutouts. Yep. You only find these on mainland anymore. Everybody in like private regions uses bots for this sort of thing. This is actually pretty nice. If this is one spot in particular where you have 2 different rooms and like a little garden spot in the middle, that's actually really nice. And it seems to be rentable too. I should probably mention that I'm using one of my old avatars once again, and this is an Inuyasha one, which is one I picked up fairly early on in my time in Second Life. Definitely looks like it too. I'm pretty sure I haven't used it before, so... Though I am starting to run out of old avatars to use for this. Hopefully I'll be able to find 4 more, or I'll have to reuse some, I guess. Alright, let's continue on over here. This area kind of intrigued me when I saw it last time on the other region where I stopped at. And here's a good view of the castle we'll be looking at. This is definitely like the big noticeable thing for this region. As I was saying before, every region sort of has that monument or thing that makes it stand out, and that castle's definitely it. It's the biggest thing around. This area kind of looks like it was once maybe like a club or something, and somebody like ripped apart most of it but left some of it here. At least that's kind of how it looks like to me. Either that or they like put a bunch of club equipment here and just left it. Because things are all floating, and some of the stuff definitely looks like it was probably part of a ceiling at one point, like the lights. Unless this whole thing is one big object. No, the speakers are by themselves, so I have to assume they're just floating for some reason. The curiosities of Mainland. I mean, you'll just find stuff just scattered about everywhere, and you never know what the story is with it. But in any case, I think we will go ahead and check out this shop for a moment here. I'm not going to spend too much time with the shops when I find them, because they're not particularly big. Actually, wasn't there there was a Clementina house there before. I guess they got rid of it. I definitely remember there one being along this line here. So I guess that's one change from the last region. Interesting. There's a tower that's just going straight up there, though that's not part of the tour we're doing. It's always nice to see what the environment like is around it, though. This looks to be like a swimwear and undergarment thing shop, I guess. I'm not sure. I like the layout with the water and the steps and all that. That's pretty nice. I don't usually see that for shops. Plomeria and Jade's Passion Lingerie, I guess, are the two shops here. Some jewelry and things like that in the corner as well. It's been a while since we've seen a full-on shop on these regions. This looks to be more stuff for like poses and landscaping, it looks like. I guess this is the Reflections collection, and the picture that we're looking at is It Complete, which it looks to be pavilions and water and things along those lines. And we got some nice patio stuff here. Hellraiser puzzle box, if you wanted to mess around with that. And I think we'll go ahead and just hop out of this store now, since I think we've seen about everything. As said, Hawthorne appears to have a lot of empty space to it, unfortunately, but most of it is wrapped around the castle. Got something here, though. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got here. Oh, that looks pretty, that looks pretty neat over here. We're right at the end, though, so that's not on the, Hawthorne region. Looks to be a army parcel or something along those lines here. Hawthorne used to be part of the Outlands, and that used to be like a combat zone for Second Life, as far as I know. So it makes sense we'd see remnants of that around. Another commandment block here, it looks like. Thou shalt not set thy security orb to teleport people without at least a 1-minute warning, lest you beast a jerk. Sounds about right, but unfortunately, a lot of people, well, no, I will say they usually give at least 30 seconds on their orbs nowadays. Sometimes you unfortunately get bots that keep wanting to show up at your place over and over again, and you kind of have to get rid of them. Some little bunks here inside the tent, and it looks like we got some maps here. Let's take a look at what we got. There actually is like a lot of Second Life military community or groups along those lines, and they do like battles and stuff. I know at least somebody that I know used to be a part of them, and I'm kind of surprised that they're able to do that with some of the issues with frame rates and whatnot, to be able to play essentially a first-person shooter here in Second Life, but must be neat, I imagine. Jesse Combat Area Map 1/29/2018. So that's actually fairly recent. So they seem to still be active, which is nice. It looks like we have some stuff behind this place over here, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. I see a moon by the mountain over there. Just a random object of a person sitting there. Looks like perhaps somebody had a place here and decided to leave it all or something, or took the building away and left the furniture. I don't know. Appears to be more Markland stuff, though, in any case. I guess they're the big sellers for Hawthorne here. It's a nice tub, actually. Can't quite make out that letter. Let me see. Oh, there went the mailbox, but I can see the letter now. From the United Kingdom. I guess we'll go around the castle now, because it appears to be there's nothing going on in front of it. There's not a whole lot going on behind it either, but I do want to cover everything that I can. I see a Pac-Man up in the sky. I believe we've seen that before, actually. Actually, I might have to go around. Yeah, there's not a whole lot left to look at here in Hawthorne, unfortunately. Just a couple more spots, like, I think there's 2 more that I know of. This one and one beside it that's being blocked by the mountains there. That place of all the palm trees over there is actually part of the next region we'll be going to. So it's not worried about that at the moment. Can I make this jump? Let me see. Not quite. For some reason this region is very cut up. It's kind of odd to see. Like some of the ones we've been to before, have had some weird terrain things going on with it, but not like to this extent where there's huge vertical upheavals in the ground and there's huge cuts going to the very bottom where the water is going throughout the whole area. It's kind of weird. A bit late on the happy holidays, but I enjoy it nonetheless. It is still February while I'm doing this, so it's makes sense, I guess, that some people still have their stuff out from the holidays. And here we see another island on the L-shaped lake. There's actually 3 islands in all. We saw the middle one a couple regions ago when I talked about it, but that one over there actually has a little bit more to it. Has a lighthouse, and I think there's some glitches on it too that are part of the Second Life game. Which I should probably take a look at some point. It does seem interesting. This is a nice little forest area here, though I think we'll just go ahead and keep from going inside, because we can take a nice look here from the door. Yep, nice little spot. It's like a very good use of having minimal room too, because this is a fairly small parcel. Got a campfire going right next to the well. Yeah, it appears there's actually a house out in the middle of the water, though that may be that I'm just not seeing the land under it from here. So let me take a look. Nope, it's definitely out here on the water. That's pretty neat. Though it's actually right next to a giant island that I was not aware of over that way. My draw distance is only like 288 right now. I usually have on 360, but I drop it a little bit for these mainland videos. Now, the frames here haven't been too particularly bad. Probably because there hasn't been a lot here. So as you can see, this whole straight line is nothing. It's land for sale. And this over here is part of the other region beside us. Nothing down here in the water. I always like to check in case there's anything hidden down there. This area over here looks beautiful, though. So I'm going to save it for the next video, because that'll be the next region we're going to, is where it's on. And this appears to be another shop here, but it looks like the entrance is closed, and there's a landmark clicky in the front of it. So perhaps whoever owns the shop is in the middle of moving, I assume. Because, yeah, there's no way of getting inside of here, it looks like. Can just take a brief look inside, I guess, though. And I guess there's somebody else walking around out here as well. Or perhaps they want for you to click for a landmark to get a landmark inside the store. Who knows? That'd be an interesting way of doing things, though. Classic clothing. Anything behind the store, I wonder? Oh, appears to be a boat. Nice looking. I assume that water is probably like a prim or something because it's a much lighter color. There's a little patch of shrubbery here, it looks like. Some flowers and trees. Very small little spot. Oh, there's even sound effects right there, too. Huh. Maybe that's a spot for somebody, whoever owns it, just kind of sits there and AFKs. So a lot of people do that kind of thing nowadays. They just get a very small parcel for themselves and put a few things down and basically have a spot to AFK at while sitting in the Second Life. And here we are entering the castle Dragon's Nest, which I guess you apparently have to fly to get up here, but flying is actually disabled on the parcel itself. Some nice statues here. It's a nice little fountain, too. I guess it's supposed to have a bit of a Gothic castle look, perhaps? Though it's actually quite light for that kind of theming. So maybe not, I'm not sure. Oh, here's a good view of part of the region we were just crossing. You can see the store and the little cottage over there. A lounging area with a skull in the mirror. Okay, it's like I was saying before, there's parts of this castle that are up for rent, so I kind of don't see the reason why we couldn't explore in here. There's a teleporter too on the ground there, but we're going to be going through the doors. I guess these would be the rental rooms. There's nothing in here at the moment, though. I don't know if there are any current rentals or not that are closed off. I assume the ones with the boxes in front, talking about prices and whatnot, probably are still empty. And this is the dungeon here. Coffins on the sides here. Another empty room. Let's see. I guess I actually have quite a few doors to go around to here. I assume the ones that aren't labeled throughout are the ones that are for rent. Ah, we found ourselves a dragon. So if we wanted to take off, we could go ahead and just grab a dragon and fly around. Only bad thing is that with rideable things on mainland is that you tend to get stuck on region lines and potentially lose your ride that way. Otherwise, though, it's fairly nice. Kind of messed up the head there, but it wasn't showing up originally anyways. And I think this is the... Yeah, I think that's Shipley over there, the next one we're going to. I think that puts us close to... That puts us on the very end of the Outlands, and the furthest spot out from where we started. Because after Shipley, we have to go back towards Freeland and to boom again. Guess now we'll be heading up the stairs and seeing what's going on up here. This is a really nice castle, but I've had a castle myself before, and it's very difficult to figure out how to use items well with them. Because they're usually very big roomed, in very big places in general, and even with the smaller castle that I own on my own parcel, I have trouble filling it up with things. Ah, library. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, places like this, and there's also like a city version that I see often where they use the walls themselves to act as filling up space, like with the library and all those shelving. That's a texture instead of actually being an object, so that saves prim use for you. Which is always a good thing. Okay, so we have Knight's Hall and Treasure Chamber, so let's go ahead and take a look at Knight's Hall first. Looks to be a bedroom of sorts. Looks like a bed basket for a pet or something on those lines on the ground there. Ah, this must be where the teleports head to. All these shields. Alright, let's go take a look at the treasure chamber, and I think that's the last one besides the teleporter, which I don't know if there's other teleporter spots with the pads or not. Oh, that's pretty nice. A room filled with gold and jewels. It looks like gold and silver, actually. This would probably actually make a pretty good roleplay castle. Alright, I'm going to see where these teleports will lead us. Okay, so the teleports were actually to what looked like a private room, and the other spot was security orbs, so won't be showing those off. But in any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of Hawthorne, and I'll be back with another mainland video real soon.